Today, we're going to cook Colcannon. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's an Irish traditional potato and cabbage or kale mixture. I am going to make some twists on it. I am going to make it my own. I am going to add some speck to it and some cheese to make it more like a casserole, a comfort food casserole, maybe an Irish mac and cheese, if you want to call it that. But it's pretty simple. I am going to show you the steps to get it done, the different products you need to make this, and hopefully by the end of the video we can take a taste and hopefully a success. So let's start cooking. So the ingredients for this recipe are pretty simple. We have some cabbage, which I will cut and cook, and shred and cook. We have some onion. Now I'm using a Vidalia onion. We have some green onions, some milk, and some potatoes. You need some butter, and of course the butter should be Irish. Whoops, let's go here. The butter should be Irish. And we got some Italian speck, which is really maybe an Italian bacon if you want to call it that. It's smoked ham. And then we have some Irish cheese. Okay, the first thing we need to do is get the potatoes prepared so we can boil and turn them into mashed potatoes. So I've peeled 3 pounds of potatoes. I am now cutting the potatoes evenly so we can boil them. So the next thing is to prepare the milk, infused milk. I am going to cut some spring onions and add that to a milk mixture, heat it up so it can be infused with flavor. The milk can be infused with flavor. Now this is just a rough chop. It doesn't need to be finely chopped. But you just want to make sure that the onions are going to impart their flavor into the milk. That's good. Let's put this in here like this. Now a little milk. Now I'm using salted butter. Okay, so now we'll put that on the stove. We don't want the milk to boil, but we just want it to heat melt the butter and heat up and grab the flavor of the onions. Okay, now I'm going to cut up my cabbage, shred my cabbage. I've cored the cabbage. I took the root or the core of it off, cut it out on both halves. I've taken off the outer leaf or skin of the cabbage just to try to make it easier for me. Now it's just a matter of cutting it. You don't want it too fine, but let's just get this thing. All right, so we got the cabbage cut. I'm going to cut my onion up next, and then we're going to saute the onion, some of the speck, and the cabbage together, cook it all together and go from there. We are cutting up the onion. Into one more piece here. So it is a Vidalia onion. I chose Vidalia because I didn't want it too strong, the flavor. It's kind of what Elaine and I like in our onions. We definitely like cooked onion from the sweetness, especially when it begins to caramelize and release its sugars. So now the next thing is to open up my speck. Okay, now it's time to start sauteing the onions. I am gonna throw some generous amounts of butter in there. Stir that around. Just so the bottom of the pan is coated. Okay, that's good enough. I'll throw my onions in. Always season as you go along. Now, not too much salt because the butter is already salted. Okay, we're going to coat the onions with the butter the best we can. On the back burner, I have the milk and green onions and butter heating up. It's on the lowest setting for the burner, so we don't scald the milk, but allows the butter to melt and infuses the flavor of the onions. Once the onions look a little cooked, we will take that off the heat and set it aside and use it for when we do our mashed potatoes. Okay, now I'm going to check my potatoes. I think they're all done cooking. You want to make sure they're fork tender, which it is. So I've turned off the heat. I am going to drain them, put them back in the pot to get rid of the residual moisture. Okay, I have the potatoes back on the stove top now, and we're just trying to dry them out a little bit. That will make them fluffier once you get rid of the moisture. And then once that's done, I will use my potato masher with the butter and green onions. Doesn't take much, just enough to, you can still see the moisture coming off. Now, some people, if they like their potatoes really smooth, they use what they call a ricer. I am just going to use this and kind of leave it rustic. Okay, that's good. Let's get some this in here. Yeah, my potatoes are good. Okay, I've added the cabbage to my onion and speck combination. Now we're sauteing the cabbage down. I've added also some more butter to make sure it stays nice and moist. We're going to continue to mix it. Going to season every layer. Salt. Pepper. And once it's cooked, we will add it to a casserole dish. Okay, the cabbage is really cooked down really nicely. I didn't show this to you, but we chopped up some garlic and added garlic. I decided to add garlic at the last minute because I like garlic in my mashed potatoes. And I thought, well, that might be a nice way to elevate some of the flavors. So this is basically done now. So I'm going to turn it off the heat. The garlic oil should release. I am going to take a portion of this and put it into my mashed potatoes. Now, my mashed potatoes, I put it in a separate bowl only because it makes it easier for the video. Otherwise, I would have left it in the cooking pot that I had it in where I mashed it and done it that way. Now, I am going to layer this dish. I guess I'm going to treat it like lasagna, where I'm going to have multiple layers of different items to kind of give it some texture and flavors and look. Don't want a whole lot, but just want some. Most of it is going to be the potato. Okay. Just maybe a little bit more. There we go. Okay, takes care of that one. Now, let's get the potato. Kind of packed down, kind of solid. All right, I'm gonna put some cheese. Whatever cheese in here. Gonna put some more cheese on the top to give it a brown. Now, the only thing left to do is to stick it in the oven so the cheese melts. Okay, I'm about ready to put the casserole in the oven. So before I go any farther, I just want to talk about what I've done. I took a Irish potato and cabbage meal or side dish, and I've kind of made it my own. I've put some speck in it, which is an Italian prosciutto that's been smoked. I added some garlic to it, and I added some cheese. So now it's more like a casserole. It is going to be a hopefully a main meal for us. Yesterday we had a family gathering, and I had cooked some pulled chicken. We had some potato salad and a green salad, some other miscellaneous things. Elaine and I assumed we'd have leftovers for the week. Well, to our surprise, everything got eaten. So today I went to the store and I bought some ingredients to try this recipe. The recipe called for green cabbage. There was no green cabbage there, so I used red. I think that's an important thing to remember for home cooks, is that you have to be adept to what ingredients are available at your market. When they're available, you cook that. And then you also make the recipe your own. The recipe, the way I look at it, is a guideline. You can, if you like a certain ingredient, like we like garlic, I added garlic to it. I only think it's going to enhance the flavor. So don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to modify. And so now it's going to go in the oven. It's going to go in the oven for 20 minutes. The casserole has come out of the oven. It was in the oven at 325 for 30 minutes. I am going to slice it up now and let it cool some more, and then going to have a tasting. Yeah, the cheese is really gooey now, so it's important to cut it now before it gets too solidified. Okay, I'm back. I think it's cooled down enough where I can take a piece out and sample it. Okay, let's see what it tastes like. Wow, this is comfort food. You taste the onions. The cabbage gives it a nice texture. The cheese is not overpowering. I had a whole brick of cheese. Thought it might be too much, but I think it's good. I think this is really good. I like this. I don't really taste the speck. I was worried the bacon would be too overpowering, but maybe you need the smoked bacon. Or maybe you don't. You know, it's just a preference that I have. But the success, I would recommend you try this. Modify it for your own.